at you this week. What we got, Big?
All right. So far, before we get started, I'm going to recap our wins and losses from last week and our totals from weeks 1 and 2. So, or I guess weeks 2 and 3, not 1 and 2. From week 3, Jeremiah, you were 5 and 4. I was 6 and 3. The Penn State and Auburn game is what made the difference. I was right and you was wrong. Okay. Our totals were identical last week, so that for adding them to this week's totals gives me at 25 and 10 and you at 24 and 11 for weeks 2 and 3.
We're so close.
I know it is close. It's pretty close, and it's a pretty good percentage, man. Getting 25 out of 35 and 24 out of 35 is not too bad. So we got 12 picked out that we're gonna do reactions on, and or not reactions, I'm sorry, predictions on, and we're gonna let everybody know who we think is gonna win and how that's gonna go. So first one we got up is Notre Dame versus Wisconsin. All right, so hear me out. All I have to say is Wisconsin's gonna win this one. So that's all I got to say about that.
You know, these are the games where I typically differ. I'm like, oh no, Notre Dame's this, Notre Dame's that. If I want Notre Dame to win, it's only to see them lose to Cincinnati and like have Cincinnati jump up. Like, that's the only reason why I would pick Notre Dame to win, is so that it makes Cincinnati look better when Cincinnati beats them. However, Wisconsin is going to be a Wisconsin team that's going to be hard to beat. They competed with Penn State and made Penn State really fight. Penn State's ranked in the top 10. I don't think Notre Dame has it in them to beat Wisconsin. We both could be wrong, but I'm going to go with Wisconsin as well.
All right. So the next one is probably the biggest game of this coming week, for week 4. Texas A&M versus Arkansas. Now, this one isn't just big for the week. This is huge for SEC West implications, because whoever wins this game, other than Ole Miss, is going to be the kind of the leader of the pack, other than Alabama, as far as fighting for that side of the conference going towards the SEC championship. So this is a tough one. This is a tough one to pick. I think, I don't know what the running odds are. I haven't looked at them, but my guess is they're probably going to favor Texas A&M. But Texas A&M's got a new quarterback, Calzada, even though he got in the calzone. Arkansas has been playing great defense. I don't know if Texas A&M can stop Arkansas's offensive threat. He was making some great passes this weekend. I'm taking Arkansas.
Look, Arkansas's quarterback right now, as he stands, is 39 for 63 for 632 yards and 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Calzada, 37 for 72, 458 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Numbers very similar. Where the difference is receiving. The leading receiver for Arkansas has 206 yards, and it's almost a 50-yard difference. It's actually like a 65-yard difference in receiving yards, with the same amount of receptions, and one has a touchdown, the other one doesn't. And that's where Arkansas has the edge, is passing wise. But Texas A&M has a 57.7% chance of winning.
So it's fairly split, man.
The spread is +6 with an over/under of 48. You know, Arkansas hasn't done me wrong all year. I'm gonna go with the Hogs. If I lose, I lose. This is a game where Arkansas proves.
Where is it? Where is the game at? Who's hosting it?
It looks like it's at Texas A&M. It's at Kyle Field.
Okay, that's gonna make it tougher. But you know, they just beat Texas. They had.
It is in Razorback Stadium.
Yeah, I like the Hogs, boy.
I'm going Hogs all day. My bad for telling you guys that.
That's all right. That's all right. Man, it's gonna
Well,
be
no,
that's
never
gonna
mind.
be such a fun game to watch. I'm so pumped about it.
AT&T Stadium. So it's at neither.
What?
It's at AT&T Stadium.
So is it neither?
Yeah. Razorback. It's not at Razorback Stadium. It's not at Kyle Field.
So it's a neutral site.
A neutral site game in the middle of the season?
I don't even want to dig into that right now. We'll figure that out later. All right. We're both taking Arkansas, though. Hopefully they won't let us down. Next game up, UCLA and Stanford. Now, this game right here, Stanford beat the brakes off of USC. They also lost to a now ranked Kansas State. UCLA, they just dropped to Fresno State, who is now ranked, but has played fairly well this year. I think this is going to be a really good game. I like UCLA. I think UCLA is going to win this one. I don't know how much. I think it'll probably be a close game, but I do like UCLA.
Stanford's on the outside looking in the Pac-12. They're not, in my opinion, they're just not up to par with the big dogs yet. I like UCLA. After watching what they did to LSU, got to go UCLA only because it helps LSU look better when they start beating. That way it makes Alabama look better when Alabama beats LSU.
Next, we got Michigan State and Nebraska. Now, probably the smartest money is on Michigan State here. But Nebraska played, even though they didn't play a great game, they played Oklahoma to a 7-point final. Michigan State has played pretty good this year. But I'm going to take Nebraska in this game. I know I'm crazy. I'm losing my mind, but I like Nebraska in this game. I'll probably even lose this one. I don't care.
I
I see something in those guys, like they're tired of losing. You could see it on their face yesterday. Like it was so close. It's like within their grasp. You know what I mean? It's like in a basketball game, if you're within 2 or 3 points every game, but you're still losing, you're just like, oh, why can't we break this? You know what I mean? That's where they're at, and they need a big game like this. Now they might lose it, but I think they can do it.
So Nebraska is competing with good teams, but they also lost to Illinois.
This is true.
So they're beating teams they're supposed to beat, but they put a 28 spot on Buffalo. They put a 52 spot on Fordham, but they lost to Illinois.
Yeah. I'm just saying the talent is there. They have the ability to do it. The question is whether or not they will.
I'm going the safe route and saying
I don't blame you. I do not.
If I'm wrong, whatever. But
all right, next up we have Tennessee versus Florida. This one is in the swamp, if I'm not mistaken. If I read that right, I don't see Tennessee beating Florida in the swamp. Not this Tennessee team.
No.
Maybe if you could pull Peyton Manning out of retirement. I don't know.
I don't even know if that would help. That's saying a lot. I think Peyton Manning's the greatest quarterback to ever play the game of football. People can run confidence all they want to. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
No, Tennessee ain't got no shot. Tennessee's getting beat.
That's a tough one. Yeah, that's gonna be a beat down. They're gonna go home broken. They're not really fixed right now, but it's gonna be tough. All right, next up, man, we got Oklahoma, West Virginia. Now, Oklahoma's been struggling. It's not been pretty. Their wins have not been pretty. West Virginia, they're fired up right now because they just came out on top of Tech. And man, their goose is cooking. And I know the smart money's on Oklahoma, but this is why I don't bet. So I'm taking West Virginia because I think they're going to upset Oklahoma.
Oklahoma's been on the verge of upset 2 out of the 3 games they played this year. And they're not off upset alert again. We are going, I'm right there with you. We either both win or we both lose. But West Virginia, I'm calling it. It's a full-on upset. And I think West Virginia beats them by probably 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
may be completely wrong, but I think it's a 2-touchdown game, one way or the other. And I'm going West Virginia.
Yeah, that West Virginia defense is scrappy. Man, they get after it. And I think it's going to give the Oklahoma offense problems. And I don't think their defense can stop West Virginia's offense. And I think that's what's going to make the difference. Next we got BYU in South Florida. Now, I picked this game to pick because BYU's played so well, and I just feel like they deserve a mention. But I really think BYU's got it in this game.
Well, South Florida's lost to NC State 45-0. They've lost to Florida 42-20. Then they beat FAMU.
Florida A&M?
Florida A&M 38-17. So I don't give them a chance. Simple as that. BYU does what they're going to do, and I think they have a field day over them.
Yeah. Next up, we got Texas Tech and Texas. I like Texas in this one. I don't know. I'm not saying Texas Tech can't win, but my money's on Texas here.
So the reason I picked this game is because I think that one of these two teams, if Oklahoma wins this week, one of these two teams are the teams that beat Oklahoma. And not only do I think they beat Oklahoma, I think they beat Oklahoma like a drum. They play them. Because Texas, while they lost to Arkansas, they showed some grit in that game. Yeah. Texas is playing good football right now. So I'm going Texas. I only chose this game because both teams are really, really good right now. Texas Tech's 3-0. If they win this game, they're probably going to jump into the top 25. And then, whatever. It could go either way. I'm going Texas, mostly because Texas is coming to the SEC soon, and I really want to see them win. I really want to see them successful. But I also, I really like this game because it plays so much more into who's going to beat Oklahoma. Because I don't think Oklahoma's going to stay perfect this year by no means.
No, I'm not. I don't even know if they'll make it out of the regular season without 2 losses. I'm thinking they're probably going to end up with 2 losses in the regular season, but we'll see. Clemson and NC State. I'm going to say Clemson's probably the smart money, and that's who I'm going to pick. But I've got them on upset alert because NC State could do it.
This is the game where we differ.
All right.
We've differed a little bit here and there, but not much. I think NC State comes in and just bulldozes through them. I think NC State, while Clemson has a really good defense, NC State's putting up 40 points a game. And Clemson's offense is
not putting up 40 points a game. Freaking Clemson.
Clemson's offense is looking bad. They almost lost to Georgia Tech last week.
It's crazy, man.
So
I would never have expected them to have dropped off so hard. And I've seen a lot of people blaming DJ Ucla, but it's not his fault.
It's the play.
The primary issue I've seen is the offensive line not protecting, giving him enough time to make it. He can't even get through his reads, man. He's got defenders back there in his face. It's understandable against Georgia. This is not understandable against Georgia Tech.
Not at all.
Georgia Tech's defensive tackle should not be in your face in a half a second. That's your offensive line's fault. You got to fix that problem. I'm not sure what's going to happen there. Hopefully they'll get it corrected. Surely Dabo's got somebody chomping at the bits to block for him. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. Or they'll figure it out. I don't know, but it may take an in-season loss to NC State to do it.
NC State's been right on the edge for the last few weeks, last few years, really. They've been you got your North Carolinas, you got your Clemsons, sometimes you got your Florida States whenever they decide they want to play football. You have these top tier teams, but NC State's kind of outside, but the Wolfpack's always chomping at the bits to really be that prominent team.
Yeah.
And I think this year they're finally putting together, I don't know the whole story, but from what I've seen, dude, their defense is racking up really good games. They're playing week in and week out, dominating everybody they played. Let me look up their schedule real quick. It's they had that 45 point win against USF. The only team that they've lost to, because I told you they were 2-1. The only team they lost to was Mississippi State, And I don't think Mississippi State, I think Mississippi State's that was just one of those games.
Yeah.
But golly, I think Clemson's going to lose, man, especially after last week.
Could happen. Next up, we got Iowa State and Baylor. Now, this one caught me by surprise because they've done this very, very quietly. But Baylor's 3-0, correct?
Yep.
And I mean, this could be the game that puts them in the top 25 if they're able to pull it off against Iowa State. Now, I don't know. I think Iowa State's probably the smart money. What do you think? I'm gonna let you make your pick first because you know more about this one.
So Baylor is playing teams like Texas State and Texas Southern. And against Texas State, they won 29-20. I got a buddy whose cousin goes to Texas State. And, team's not that bad. I follow him on Instagram. They're really, really good camaraderie. I'm not saying that they're drop dead the best team in the world. But, this Texas Southern win, they beat them 66-7. And then they beat the brakes off of Kansas, who, just stormed the field a few weeks ago because they got their first win. Now, I'm not saying that Kansas is just, this awful team, but, they done what they're supposed to do against teams they're supposed to do it against. The thing that really sets me apart with Iowa State is they just played Iowa, and Iowa beat them like a drum. Iowa didn't just beat them like a drum, they beat them like a drum.
Yeah.
Up and down the field. Then they come out the next week and beat UNLV. I don't think UNLV is that good. But that Northern Illinois game, that UNI game, 16-10, barely scraped by. Baylor's definitely better than UNI.
Yeah.
Definitely better than them. So I'm going Iowa State, but I'm also putting them on upset alert.
Okay. I'm with it.
Just because of the sheer fact of they have to prove that they're top 15 material. They have to prove that they're ready to compete if they ever want to be competitive.
Last game, Oklahoma State and K-State, Kansas State. All right, we got the battle of the two undefeateds, or another battle of the two undefeateds. We're going to see. We're going to see. I like K-State. I was really surprised by how well they played. I didn't know that Oklahoma State was undefeated because they've done it kind of like Baylor. They've done it quietly. But, hey, here we are. We'll find out.
Well, Oklahoma State beat Morgan State. They beat Tulsa, who just competed with Ohio State.
Right.
And then they beat Boise State by 1 point last Saturday. So, they're playing a lot of really close games. I'm not saying Oklahoma State's this amazing whatever, but I don't know, man. K-State, let me look at – I'm kind of doing this as we go because I want to make sure I get these points up, man. I'm tired of losing. Where's it at? Where's that game at? I just had it, and then it went away. Where did you go? Kansas State. There we go. Kansas State has beaten Stanford. They've beaten Southern. Who is it? Southern Illinois? Salukis? The Salukis? The Salukis? They've beaten Stanford. They beat Southern Illinois, and they beat Nevada. It's kind of one of those, they haven't really played anybody, but they have played somebody.
Well, Stanford, I think the Stanford game, because of who Stanford beat later on in USC, we'll find out with this UCLA game really where Stanford's at. But
I think realistically this could go either way.
It really could. I think you're right.
So, I'm going to go K-State for the safe bet as well. But again, upset alert because they're not completely out of the works. They're not completely out of it. The only team that I really think is gonna really get upset is Clemson, though. I have no faith in Clemson's O-line at all.
That's exactly right, man. Well, that wraps it up, guys. Hope you have a great week. Can't wait to do this again. Hit like, subscribe, comment, all the jazz.
Also, go check out our website, southofthemouthsports.com. We have merch that just dropped. Big time. We are not wearing our merch, unfortunately. Soon we're gonna have a few shirts that we're gonna like rotate through. But after this coming up weekend, we will actually no longer be doing it on Zoom. We'll be recording from our headquarters finally. That'll be the first few times we get that. So we hope you guys enjoy. Please subscribe, like, comment, do all the stuff. Thank you guys so much. Peace.